Yeah, everybody, here we are live with the Main Street Quartets. How are you guys?
Good.
Oh, good.
Thanks, Phil.
Very good, thank you.
Hey.
Good to see you.
Yeah, let's see. I have already one comment from someone ready for the interview. So welcome to the show. If you have questions, let me know. Put them in the comments. I see already 6 people watching at the moment. More will join because it takes some time if you go live. So if people don't have any questions, I will ask the first question. How did you guys come together?
There's a story.
How did you? Yeah.
Well, that was way back in 1991, and our baritone at the start, 1990. Yeah. Sorry, back in 1990. Yeah. Martin, our lead, and me sang with the same group in the UK, along with the original baritone of the quartet, Jim. And we wanted to sing together, and we were looking for a tenor. And we'd heard about Steve, who was with a different group in a different area. So we wandered over one night, asked him to sing with us. Liked what we heard immediately, and yeah, that was it. Nickelodeon. Well, actually, originally we were first called something different, but then we became Nickelodeon, and then yeah, then we became the Main Street Quartet.
31 years ago.
Yeah. Wow. Don't remind me.
And were you guys a group before you performed at Disneyland Paris?
Yeah. So we formed in early 1990. We got together, and in late 91, that's when we saw the advert for EuroDisney. For auditions. So yeah, we've been together by then about 2 years by the time we got to France.
Question: How long did we work at Disneyland Paris? Well, the reason you can see more than 4 of us is because we changed personnel. I was there at the beginning from April. Well, we got there before then, but from April '92 through to the summer of '93, when Stuart took over from me. He was disgustingly young at the time, and yeah, he came in when I had to go back to the UK. And then you were there for about a year, weren't you, Stuart?
Yeah, I think Paul took over from me in '94. I think it was Paul.
Yep.
When I had to go back to the UK, and Paul saw out the rest of the tour, as it were.
Yeah. So the at the end it was Steve, Martin, John, and Paul. Paul, when did it all come to an end?
Well, we were still hoping to get a contract for 1995, again, to start in April, but that eventually just didn't come to anything. So the last thing we did was a stage show in December '94 over the New Year period, which was great fun. Different from Main Street, but also good fun.
Yeah.
Was it still called the Jolly Holiday Show?
It was. I was going to say, for anybody who remembers, or there's maybe even ex-cast members listening, the show at the hotel in New York was the Jolly Holiday Show, and that was our last gig at the park. We did it 2 years running.
Excuse me, I'm laughing because when I first heard about the Jolly Holiday Show, it was from quite a distance away, and I think Sheila Sturman, the manager, came over, and she said, "Guys, you're going to be in the Johnny Halliday Show." And of course, Johnny Halliday was the French Elvis equivalent. And I said, "Guys, we're going to be with Johnny Halliday."
Yeah. Oh no! For weeks, we were all telling people we were going to be on the Johnny Halliday Show.
Yeah. We were extremely excited.
I need to check my hearing.
But I mean, it's only now. I still thought it was the Johnny Halliday Show. I mean, That's the first thing I've heard. But it wasn't. I swear to God, that's the first I've heard that it wasn't the Johnny Halliday show.
No way.
There you go.
There was a different budget for that.
No.
Yeah.
And how did you guys get in contact with Disney?
Well,
so
I got.
that-
Oh, yeah. Go on.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, our original baritone, Jim, he saw an advert in the London Evening Standard. And he brought it to one of our quartet rehearsals one night. That's it was me, Steve, and Martin. And he said, "Here, what do you think?" I mean, at the time, I was convinced that basically it was an advert for us to go and do the opening of the park, and that was it. It was going to be a one gig, one evening. That's it, no problem at all. So he brought it along to the rehearsal, and we sort of spoke about it. We said, yeah, well, we'll give it a whirl. It'd be a great experience, great thing to go and do for one night. At least that's how I remember it. But then we've already proven one.
No, I think so too, Mark. I think we all thought it was possibly for the opening. It would be an amazing gig to sing at the opening of EuroDisney. But the conversation went very quickly from singing a few songs to talking about contracts and talking about this being more than just a short-term thing. Then it was 3 years.
That was the shocker when we got to the audition. Obviously, they liked what they heard, and I remember, there you go, you've got the gig, and I was still thinking it was one night, and I said, "Oh, great, lovely." And then they said, "We want to now talk to you about the contract," and I said, "Oh, how long will it be for?" They said, "What do you mean? How long will it be for? It's permanent." And then we had to go away and talk about this. Then, of course, when our original baritone had to leave, it was a question then of finding an alternative, and we were amazingly lucky to find John. John, tell them your experience of joining the group.
Yes, well, I was. We all knew each other back in the UK as singers, as members of the British Association of Barbershop Singers family. We all knew each other already. But I came home from work one evening to a message on my answer machine, which said, "Hello, John, it's Mark Grindle here. We're looking for a baritone at EuroDisneyland Paris, and would you be interested?" Just amazing. And so I phoned Mark. I think that was on the Monday. On the Wednesday, I flew out there to Paris and met Mark, of course, and we did the audition, and it was a thumbs up from Mark, luckily for me. And I will be ever grateful to Jim for not wishing to stay at EuroDisney in order to come home and meet his UK commitments that he had at the time. So thank you, Jim, for that opportunity. It was the best 3 years of my life so far. I will never forget it. We still sing as well now as we did then. And every time we meet to sing, it is special.
It is like turning back the clock. There's no question about that at all. Then, of course, when I had to go, Stuart, how did you get the job?
Well, yeah, that was quite interesting because I didn't know anyone other than John because I was a relative newbie to the shop when the gig came up. I had just been awarded a scholarship to go to the States for Harmony College that is run by the what is now the Barbershop Harmony Society in the States. And I just got a scholarship to go and be educated by the Americans, who are the best, apparently. And I got a phone call from John saying, "I've got a gig for you. Would you be interested?" Because I knew John from singing with him as he was a guest quartet, part of the guest quartet on our chorus show. And I sang with him, and it obviously left a lasting impression with him because he called me up. "I've got this gig for you. Would you be interested?" And I think it took me a similar amount of time as you, John, about 35 seconds to make it. Yes. So I went out to France, drove myself over there, met up with the guys. Everybody was extremely welcoming as I proceeded to try and learn the 40-plus song repertoire in 2 weeks. And Bob's your uncle. Away we went. It was great.
Yeah,
and you did.
Well, yeah, you did actually. I was. If you recall, I didn't particularly want to leave, so I wouldn't say I resented your presence. But there was a degree of, well, I don't want to go. Here's this rather young, very good singer coming in to replace me, and I wasn't happy about it at all.
We should point out it was your decision to leave, Mark. Just for the people listening.
Yeah, sorry. To the wonderful people listening to this podcast, it was my decision to leave. But I still at the time hated Stuart. But that's another.
Oh.
I think we made up for it on your leaving party, though, Mark, didn't we?
Can I just say, I just want to say there's a question here, and I want to say I think Diswitch is a really good handle, and that's a really good question about what our favourite. Is that my phone ringing?
It's mine.
Oh, it's yours. Okay, it's the same as mine. Diswitch wants to know what our favourite song to sing together is. Is there any chance of getting a preview? I'm not sure about the preview because I don't know what the latency is, as in the delay on here.
I have no idea.
Neither do I. But what we're going to say song-wise, at the height of our repertoire, we had about 40 songs, and some of those were Disney and some of those weren't. And we still sing most of them. But if it was going to be a Disney song, Diswitch, it's probably going to be Zippity Doo-Dah.
Yep, I would say so.
I think.
We could. I tell you what. I mean, I don't think we could possibly sing a song, but we might be able to do a simple tag. That might be possible.
I don't know.
That might. I mean,
I think the only thing I've tried this before, and the only thing that will work that doesn't matter if you have a delay is ice cream.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the only thing that works.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter if there's any delay.
Well,
but I think the basis to start it, and then the baritone, and then the lead, and then the tenor.
We've got a yes from Diswitch. So, Mark, it's up to you.
No, it's not. Pick a key.
Ice cream. Just go with that.
I love the tenor picks the key
For the bass. Yeah.
Ice cream.
Ice cream.
Gosh, that was low, wasn't it?
That was a
low ice
cream.
Good choice, Steve.
Okay. Ice cream. Go again. I don't know. Yeah. Sorry, Diswitch.
Ice cream.
All right.
Ice cream.
Ice cream. Ice cream.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. That works.
We'll see what.
It sounded like screaming as well, a bit.
Yeah.
There's one more connector.
I hope that comes out on the video. And but okay, here's an advert, because if Diswitch especially, but if you haven't seen this on some of the videos, have a look at our Facebook page or at Main Street 1992 on Twitter, because there's lots of stuff out there. Thanks to lovely people like Philip, who come along when we come to Disney for reunions and take videos, and obviously DLP report and ED92 and all you fantastic people who come with your cameras. So yeah. Thank you for asking for some singing and your lovely comments. Hey, Philip.
Hey, I wonder how many performances did you guys do in a day at the park?
Yeah, well, we would probably do about 7 or 8 20-minute segments or spots or little shows. And in those shows, we would sing about 6 or 8 songs, and so we sang about 40 songs every day for 5 days. So that's about 200 songs a week. And that's a lot of singing. But we enjoyed it so much that we found if we paced our voice and didn't sing too strongly, we would get through the working week. But what also made it very enjoyable, not just the songs and singing with the guys, but it was the fact that we could wander into any shop. We had, of course, a 4-man bike, a bicycle, a bicicleta 4, which was great. And then we also sang on the horse-drawn tram, and we could sing anywhere, anytime, any place, really.
And we were often grabbed by management to go and sing to the queues outside the park.
Yes.
Or occasionally special events. There'd be somebody. I mean, I'll never forget a special event right at the very, very, very beginning, and we sang to some incredibly famous people. We were dragged from pillar to post. Go and sing for these people because we were so portable. I mean, the park management loved using us because we could go. We didn't need any microphones. We didn't need any staging. We didn't need amplification. We needed just us to go and stand somewhere and sing, and we could. One of the beauties of that was that basically we could entertain anybody anywhere. And it was fantastic. I mean, we used to sing, as John says, 2 to 250 songs a week. It's
the thing. What John said about the number of sets and making our voice last. I think something that used to hit us at the end of the day. I mean, John and I shared an apartment for quite a while, so we experienced this together. We would get home, especially towards the end of the week, and collapse and just want to sleep. Because it's draining. It's not necessarily physically draining, but it's emotionally draining. You're out there for 20 minutes, half an hour at a time, smiling, singing, expending all that emotional energy. You just get home and fall asleep and wake up a couple of hours later and then go to Billy Bob's. So.
But then on the vocal aspect, not only were we doing all the shows, so the 100 odd songs a day, but we were also then having to learn new material in between sets.
Yeah.
So it was almost constant singing.
It was.
That's the thing. We sang more than that because of the bits in between. I just saw a question pop up about how much we would. There you go. How much do we want to go back to Disneyland Paris? And there's a story there over the last 3 to 4 years because in late 20s, let me get this right. So the 25th anniversary was 2017. So in late 2016, 4 of us went back for the first time in a very, very long time, and we had a bit of a reunion. That's when we first met ED92, and then we came back. And again, this is all unofficial, and we came back and celebrated the 25th anniversary, and we were trying to get the 6 of us together, which we finally managed back 2019. But the pipe dream was to go back in costume officially, and I can't see who asked that question, but I don't know if you've seen or not. So on our Facebook page, Disney Game. So Disney Game, I don't know if you've seen that we did actually manage in February 2020 to do an official gig back at Disneyland Paris. And that was another dream come true because we didn't think it would happen. And it was thanks in no small part to Mark and the contacts that we remade when we went back in 2019 that meant we got to speak to Disneyland Paris, and something came up where they needed a big special event, and we came up and we got the gig. So that's how much we wanted to go back. We didn't think it would happen, but we were dreaming about it, and we were going back unofficially. So Disneyland Paris, you're probably not listening, but I hope you are. 30th anniversary next year. We'd love to be part of it.
We would.
Yeah,
I'll just leave that there.
I think Disney will see it because they watch my videos. So
okay. Well,
Good.
Let's hope.
We're still talking to Disney. I've obviously been talking to special events and to the casting at Paris about using the quartet for events for this, for that, for the other. There was an occasion, as Steve rightly said, early last year, which I wasn't able to go to because I was already booked for another event, which was really frustrating because I would have loved to have gone and done it. But luckily, Paul was available. So Steve, Paul, Martin, and John did the last one. I'm still, as I say, obviously with the pandemic, the park has not been operating. We're hoping that it's going to be opening again at some point soon. Sorry, that sounds like ever. But I'm still talking to talent and to special events, and hopefully they will use us again because we're still as flexible and as mobile and as available for special events as we ever were. So that's looking positive. I'm hoping. Diswich, you saw us at DLP when we came back. That was a fantastic day.
Oh,
I loved it. We sang as a six. We also sang as different fours in different lineups, all singing our favourite songs. And that video, the reunion video is on YouTube, and it's available via the Main Street Quartet Facebook page. Go watch it because it was great. It was a fantastic weekend.
I hope it made Diswich cry for the right reasons rather than.
She did say happy tears. Yes.
Oh, happy tears. That's good. That's good.
Oh, so my son is watching. And he wants to know.
Not at all a contentious question, James. Thank you for that.
Yeah, James, I'm going to respond to you personally. I may not be terribly polite. That's not the nicest question I had.
No,
I think Paul should answer.
Do you know Russ? Can I answer this one? Because I did know Russ Hope. We did know Russ Hope. We were fortunate on the weekend that we did the gig back last February. We did go to Cowboy Cookout and we did sing with the band with Russ, and we were so sad to find out what happened to Russ shortly after we saw him. So, thanks for putting that up there, and lots of love to anybody else who knew Russ because it was just so shocking. Lovely man. And I was just going to say something about social media actually, because when we first came back in 2016, the Main Street Quartet, we had a Facebook page, but we had, it was fairly quiet. Straight away, we started a Twitter account, and just since then, we have met people. Some of you remember us from the first time round, but a lot of you, this is your first time round with the Main Street Quartet, and we're all just blown away by the love and the support and people coming up and people on the social media. So, thank you. Thanks everyone, because it's great. We love it. We just having a good time with you all. So, James, come on. Can I say? No. I will reply to that one later.
Objection. For the general population who are listening, every single one of us have attributes, benefits, abilities. We are all competent, capable singers.
Yeah, we've all got our own superpowers, basically.
Yes, absolutely. But every single one of us has the ability to sing accurately in close harmony. Of the three basses, we're different voices. We're different people. Paul, for example, is the tall, quiet one. Stuart is the young,
tall, loud one.
I'm just me, and that everybody. But although all three basses have got different voices in many respects, we're all absolutely capable of doing what we do. Steve, as our countertenor, has got a voice that will soar to the heavens. Martin, our lead, is of all the people I've sung with over 40 years of singing, he is the one person that I would prefer to sing with as a lead than anybody else, and John is the person with whom I prefer to sing as a baritone. We've all got our own personal little foible, I was going to say quinkles.
Yeah,
not a
so,
word.
Wrinkles.
Yeah. Good word, Mark. Really good word.
So I think that the answer to the question is that we don't have a best singer. We are the best EuroDisney quartet. We are the only EuroDisney quartet. We all sing as well as each other, and that's what produces the magic Main Street Quartet sound. And when I think about just how unique we are, and I was reminded of this recently when one of the Apollo astronauts passed away, Michael Collins, Apollo 11. He passed away yesterday. He was 90 years old. But I often say to the guys when we meet, there were 12 astronauts walked on the moon, but there are only 6. Seven Main Street Quartet barbershop singers.
Yeah.
So, in that respect, we are even more unique than the men that went to the moon, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think that's a bit. I think that's a bit of a stretch, John. But thanks. Yeah.
There you go. We are unique.
Philip, I know you can hear us. I'm just thinking perhaps we should pull out a funny moment or two that we had.
Yeah, that's fine. I love to hear about what you guys experienced with the guests in the parks, funny moments, maybe sad moments, or maybe even very bad moments.
Maybe stick to funny, but
okay.
One of the things we used to get asked to be in lots of photographs with families, and that was lovely, you know. And I'm not going to mention any particular nationalities, but there were one or two particular nationalities who were quite forceful, and we'd be posing happily for a family, and somebody else would come in and remove somebody's children and put their children in the in place for the photograph. And that was quite an experience. We did get stuck outside front gate once with a very large group of tourists who all wanted to be in the photograph with us. So one by one, they stepped out to take the picture and then came back in again. John, I'm thinking of a driving incident that you were in charge of at the time.
My funny moment, it wasn't very funny for the rest of the quartet, and it wasn't very funny at the time it happened. But I was, Mark used to be at the front of the bicycle, the Quandam, the 4-man bicycle. So Mark used to drive this very competently and very ably. And so when he left, of course, it fell to me to become the driver of the bicycle. And I was doing okay until one day, soon after I arrived, I unfortunately, down Main Street, caught the front wheel in one of the tracks of the tram tracks. So what happened was the bicycle stopped and we all leaned over at an angle of about 20 or 30 degrees. That was only half the problem. The other problem was there was a tram coming up. A horse-drawn tram was coming up Main Street in the opposite direction. So, quelle horreur! What shall we do? But we, I think Steve jumped off and went down, stopped the horse-drawn tram. But that was my funny moment, which wasn't funny at the time, but it's very funny now.
I think it became funny about 5 minutes afterwards, didn't it? Once everybody was okay.
Yeah.
It was also very difficult to keep a straight face and keep performing when you were being videoed with lens caps on. So their video was perfectly black and nothingness. And
I did want to say to Hazel that I don't understand why some parents walk around EuroDisney and see it through the viewfinder of a camcorder, but then you wind the clock forward 10 years, and what did I do the first time I went with my children?
Yeah.
I was walking around looking at EuroDisney through a camcorder. And I've just got a message from Hazel that I'm a bit echoey, so I'm trying to speak a bit more quietly so that I'm not so echoey. Hopefully I'm not.
Paul, I wonder, were you the person who we were singing with outside the Disneyland Hotel in the gardens there when we were attacked by a bee? Was it yourself or was it?
I think that was me, I think.
Stuart.
Was it?
Mm.
Yeah, someone tell that story, because I've told the bicycle story. That was
well, that was not so amusing, particularly for John, as we were singing, entertaining the crowds as they were queuing to get into the park, and we'd hit a post, which is the end of a song. John had hit this post, big wide mouth, just as a bee flew into his mouth, thinking this was a nice place for it to reside. And the look of sheer horror on all of our faces as we worked out what was going on was probably quite interesting for the onlookers, shall we say.
Maybe we just need to clarify that singing a post is doing a post is singing a long note at the end of a song.
Yeah.
So that's what a post is.
Yeah.
Hitting a post, not like hitting a post as in with the bicycle.
They're singing a long-held note with your mouth wide open.
I used to enjoy having a lot of fun with TV interviewers who asked the most, basically as far as I'm concerned, insane questions. I'll never forget. We were asked on live UK morning TV once. The woman said to me, "Oh, what are you doing here?" And I mean, the obvious reply. I replied singing, but I just couldn't understand why. And it used to be immensely funny to me that they would ask these crazy questions, and we'd have to try and be sensible when the obvious answer was sometimes not what was required. But yeah, that was always fun. I do remember the time outside the front again. We were singing to the queues when the man walked past with a fake knife through his head and yelled, and yelled "Hola" at the top of his voice as he went past, and we carried on singing as if nothing had happened. It was, that was quite remarkable.
What made it funnier, Mark, I remember, was the fact that I think we were singing a romantic ballad.
Yes, we were. Yes,
we were. Something like Caroline or some slow ballad like that. And so it was just totally opposite. The last thing you expect when you're singing a romantic ballad to a group of people is a man to walk past with a knife through his head, a mock machete through his head saying, "Hola."
Yeah, it was.
So internally you want to laugh, but of course you must carry on singing if you can.
Yeah, absolutely. I see Ick. Is that Ick here or Ick higher? We earlier on we mentioned this, but basically we answered an audition in London. We went along. The guys at the audition studios liked what they heard, and they gave us a contract to come and sing at Disney for. Originally, it was an open-ended contract, but in fact, it lasted in total about 4 years. And I hope that answers.
And did you guys experience technical problems, like music not stopping, or the mics not working, things like that?
Well, again, we very rarely used microphones, but we did have a special code because obviously Main Street, everywhere you go, you hear music, and it's actually after a while you kind of like when it's not there, it's weird because you're used to having it all the time. But the canned music or the music that came through the speakers all around Main Street, we had a special. We found it in the very early days. It was quite difficult because for us to sing against it, because obviously it'd often be in a different key. I mean, we used to manage, but eventually after a short while, the technical people at Disney gave us some special telephone codes so we could just dial a number, and it would turn the music off in the area where we were working. So if we were in Flower Street, for example, there was a code for Flower Street. If we were further down Main Street outside the Emporium, perhaps there'd be a different code for that. So we had a number of different codes, and we could actually just punch them in, and that would stop the music for the short period that we were going to be in that area. We could obviously also turn it off inside the shops as well. But it was good. They sorted that one out really quickly.
And the other great thing was that I think people visiting the park would sometimes think that actually we were just part of the background music. So they'd look behind us looking for wires, and while we were singing, they'd be trying to look behind us and where we were plugged in.
Yeah. That's very true.
Yeah.
The other good thing, of course, was we used to get on the 4-man bike, and we'd ride down. And when everybody's waiting for the big parade, and we'd ride along. We'd just abandon the bike in the middle of the road, go and sing to a few people, then get back on the. And it used to the expressions on people's faces was just incredible, and that was actually for me one of the greatest parts of being at Disney, was to see how much of an impact we had on people, how much they loved what they saw. And, you'd see people's faces light up when you started singing, because it was something that, for a lot of people, especially in continental Europe, they'd never heard before. So it was, for me, that was the absolute highlight. I mean, obviously working in one of the most amazing places on the planet, but also at the same time, being able to bring some light into people's lives. I mean, it was just adorable. I loved it. And I'm sure, well, in fact, we all did, no question.
The parade route, actually, with the bike, was once we realised was such a great place to ride the bike, because they closed, because when they put the ropes up. Excuse this, I'm trying to improve my sound quality. Once they put the ropes up, we had Main Street to ourselves. We could ride up and down, and we would stop and sing, and then the other three would get back on the bike and kind of pretend to carry on talking to somebody. They'd disappear up halfway up Main Street. Then because I had the back seat on the bike, I was able to run back up Main Street and jump back on the bike as they were moving and disappear. We had a lot of fun with the bike.
Yeah, so I see Edward's question about did we ever improvise or stick to our set of songs? Well, we stuck to our songs, but we, as Steve says, we kind of really improvised how we interacted with the people in the park, and every day was different. It just depended who was there. Every day was just such a pleasure.
Martin, mention what we used to do on the railway platform when we.
So there'd be queues for Main Street, Main Street Railway Station. So we'd sort of see the queue, and as the train was about to leave, we'd go running up the stairs, and it'd be like, we've missed the train. So we'd sing to the people waiting for the next train. It's just great. Watch the train disappearing into the distance.
Paul, we had a lot of visitors who came out from the UK and from all parts of the world, didn't they, to sing with us?
Yeah, we get people that knew barbershop singing, either from America or from the UK, or in fact all over the world. A lot in Scandinavia as well. So, and they would just want to come and sing a song with us. It was great. We're able to share what used to be for us just a hobby. Suddenly we were being paid to do it in the most wonderful office in the world. It was a real joy.
Absolutely. I remember the first barbershop singer to come and join us sing with us was Richard Knight. He was actually, I think, only about a month after we'd opened. He was there on Main Street asking to sing a song with us. Yeah. Ty Fine, NYU. Do you guys have understudies if someone gets sick? Actually, when we were actually working there was only ever 4 of us at any one time. So if one of us got sick, that was it. I mean, in very early days, Disney didn't quite understand that a barbershop quartet meant you had to have 4 people, because they used to think, well, it was okay for 2 or 3 of us to go out. And we used to go out, but we'd do other things. We'd act as guides. We'd help the guests out in different ways, or we'd just be visible and there. But we couldn't. It was impossible to sing barbershop quartet if one of us was down. I will say though that certainly in the period I was there, I think it only happened once or maybe twice when we were unable to perform because one of us wasn't well. In the Disney World in Florida, They have a number of different members of the quartet that still works there, and as a result, they're always changing personnel. But obviously, with Paris, they didn't think that was going to be necessary, so they only went with the four of us at any one time. So understudies, no, but yeah, luckily we didn't have downtime very, or if ever, well, very rarely.
So oh, there's a dog. So from that point of view, you had to look after yourself. You had to look after your voice. You had to look after your health, because your job as a singer meant that, you know, you had to be there singing. You couldn't not come into work unless you had no voice, for example, which happened on one occasion, I remember. But yeah, so there was a big personal responsibility for each and every one of us to look after our voices and do the right thing so that we could sing on a daily basis.
Yeah, I mean, as a result, we were always in bed before 9 o'clock. We never consumed alcohol. We never went out. We never did anything that could possibly affect us in any way, shape, or form. Yeah, but no, we did take care of our voices. That's very good.
In answer to Diswitch's question, I think we did try once to sing Mary Lou on Big Thunder Mountain, but it wasn't very successful.
But I should say also, the six of us, perhaps next time we go, should go and arrive all six of us together and just do it anyway.
That would be good. Yeah.
Because that's the thing. That did last 2019 was the first time that all six of us had ever been on the park together.
Yeah.
Because obviously when we changed over. We didn't spend time with the extra man on the park.
Indeed.
Apart from Stuart, where there was a slight overlap. So,
But we were never on the park together. We only spent time together backstage.
Ikai, the repertoire. At no point were we told what to sing. We were expected to sing appropriate songs with, songs that weren't going to cause any problems or offence, obviously. But no, there was. I think right at the very beginning, we were given some song suggestions, but we kind of explained how we would work, how we would develop the material, how we get access to the arrangements we need, etc., etc., etc. And from that point on, they left us pretty much to our own devices, and we developed our own repertoire. As John mentioned earlier, we used to be, as I said, Stuart mentioned it as well. We used to rehearse between sets. So, we'd rehearse for 20 or 30 minutes, go and do a set, come back and do a bit more rehearsal, learning new material all the time. Actually, it became quite a challenge to find enough songs that would give enough variety to the repertoire, so that we weren't singing just purely sort of love ballads. We weren't singing purely sort of swing jazzy numbers. We had to find a real balance between the kinds of songs we were singing. And obviously that was easier for us to do that because we understood the art form. We understood what was required of us. And as I say, Disney, they were always interested, and I don't think they ever asked us for a set list, or I don't think they ever asked us for a list of our material. They just trusted us to get on with it, which I think is fair and reasonable, because obviously we'd never do anything to embarrass anybody, but at the same time, we would only sing songs that really we enjoyed singing as well. So it had its advantages.
Is somebody hoovering or something? Can hear a background noise.
Not me. Yeah, no, but then we also asked to sing in other lands in the park for special events. So we did learn other songs to sing at those events. We got to wear the costumes to match those different lands as well. So there was some good mix of things that we got to do. So.
So we wore the costume from Auberge de Cendrillon once for a special event in Fantasyland, and we were dressed as sailors for the opening of Nautilus, one of the least popular attractions in the park, I understand. And what else do we? Oh, wore New York policeman outfits for a special event at the Hotel New York. Keystone Cop type outfits. Yeah, they just put us in everything. Well, white, and our favourite white tuxedos for the end of the first Jolly Holiday show that we did, which they let us borrow actually to do a private gig in Paris one evening.
Yeah, that was special.
Costume. We had about 3, maybe 4 costume changes in the second version of the Jolly Holiday show as well, which was also good fun. So yeah, and there's pictures of all those different costumes on our Facebook page.
But I
remember
was wondering. Okay, yeah, Mark, still.
Yes, I was just going to say. I also remember the first Christmas when we learned to sing some stuff with the carolers, which was a fantastic event, and we also got to ring the bells to welcome Christmas in. That was that first Christmas was really quite special, actually. Yeah. So learning songs with the carolers, yeah, there was lots of stuff, but fundamentally, we sang whatever we wanted to sing. So yeah, our choice to answer the question. Finally.
Okay, that's nice. Where did you guys stay while you were performing? Did you guys get a place to stay? Did you have to choose yourself? Did Disney pay for it? How did that go?
Well, when we first went out, I found a house in Ornois, just north of Coulommiers, and it was big enough for all 4 of us, plus at the time my wife, and we were there for, I can't remember how long now, but eventually when my wife moved back to the UK, Martin moved over to, where did you move to, Martin? I can't remember.
Créteil.
That's it. Yeah. And then of course when Jim left, John joined us in the house in Ornois. But then you guys moved to Bailly-Romainvilliers, didn't you?
Yeah, via Montevrain.
Via Montevrain, that's it. And then I went to. Then I took an apartment in Bailly as well when we let the house go, when my wife moved back to the UK. And that was so. Yeah, no, Disney helped find the first place. They provided a list of different places. But they certainly didn't pay for it, and they didn't pay for the other ones later on. That was our responsibility. So but Disney helped with the first one, but after that, no, it was down to us.
And that's when we left that place. That's when good question, Lucy. That's when John and I started our adventure, sharing an apartment together. That was great, because then we were living closer to EuroDisney itself, so we were able to enjoy the nightlife. We had season tickets at Billy Bob's. We were there a lot of the time, but it was great. That's when the social life really opened up, and Bailly-Romainvilliers was our home for quite a long time. And then Paul and I had a shared apartment over at the Boiserie. For especially any cast members listening, you know those names so well. They're etched in your memories. Lucy wants to know favourite costume. I just want to say, for me, favourite costume was our Main Street costume. It was the stripy waistcoat, the dark trousers, then the jacket and the straw bows. Just loved that costume.
Yeah, and me too.
Anything else?
And me, especially the spats. I love the spats. They were so comfortable, unbelievably comfortable.
Yeah, they were that Main Street costume was definitely my favourite. I do remember. I do remember right at the very beginning. The Disney costumiers had done a drawing, a representation of the Main Street Quartet, and they had us playing clarinet. So at the time, I didn't think they were exactly sure. Sean, lovely to hear
Sean!
from you.
Say hi, Sean!
Hello, Sean.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, that's fantastic. I wish I was looking as young as I used to. So the original drawings were of us playing a musical instrument, which was quite funny when we saw it. But also, I remember the very first time the costume before opening, one of the costumes we were given involved a hat, which was horrible. It was like, I don't know what it was. It was a dome. It was like a bowler, but with a high crown
thing.
It was the ugliest thing I've ever seen. And also, they gave us a jacket that basically, I mean, I wouldn't allow anybody to wear in public for fear of frightening
children. They thought they'd come up with our show concept, didn't they? Because they were saying, "Oh, you can swap jackets while you're singing and things like that."
That's right.
So there was a disconnect because they didn't know what a traditional American barbershop quartet looked like. But once we slowly had to educate them, and that's why it took about 6 to 8 months before we had our colour coordination with our red bow tie and our red band on our hat to match, and a white shirt, and it all looked really smart. Yeah,
it was good. They so it did take a while to get around to it, but yeah, we ended up. Although I must be honest, although the Main Street Quartet, the Main Street's costume was my favourite, I did like the one that we wore for the Easter parade as well. That was incredibly flamboyant, very bright, very showy. Yeah, we were dancing around with percussion instruments in the Easter parade. And to be honest, having a whale of a time. Yeah, that was good fun.
Again, reference our Facebook page if you want to see those photos, because I put them on about. It's probably a couple of months ago. We found a bit of a video of that, and just also to do with the costume. If you look at, hopefully I'm sure you've all seen it, the opening crew photograph with cast members filling Main Street USA. We are down there on the bottom left-hand corner. And you will note that we don't have our hats yet, and we're wearing white boots, because even on the day before opening, I think that was taken, even at that point, we didn't have our whole costume, because they were still finding things for us. I missed, there was a question that popped up.
It was, who was our favourite celebrity?
If we're allowed to say.
I enjoyed doing the promotional video with Michael Hasselhoff. I think I remember that very well.
Who?
David. Is his brother David?
David Hasselhoff.
Yeah, because I think we were just waiting for it to happen. We were just standing next to him and just chatted with him, which was just a normal situation, wasn't
it? Yeah. People we met were David Hasselhoff. We sang to Sigourney Weaver in the queue. She was queuing for a photo with Mickey Mouse. Eddie Murphy stood and listened to us, didn't he? We nearly met Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson famously made a visit to the park, or 2 or 3, but we nearly met him because we were hanging around backstage in our little changing room porter cabin. And I was just stood there. It was a sunny day. I was stood there, minding my own business, and I just saw this figure. And before I could sort of get any words in my mouth, he'd gone. And I went and I said, "Guys, Michael Jackson just walked past." And if I was the person I am now, I'd have run after him. Hey, come and listen. We're singing to you. But it was just one of those moments where he just walked past. Another question popped up, didn't it? Weird requests from that's a strange request. Well, we used to get asked for songs that we didn't know quite often. And in fact, the one song was Mr. Sandman. And
yes.
So we kind of learned it because me and Martin and Paul, we sing with one other baritone occasionally, and we have learned it. But it's song requests, but other strange requests.
People wanted to ride the bike with us.
Oh yes,
okay.
4-man bike. Yeah.
Steve, what's his name? The Olympic cyclist. He did actually.
Yeah, Tour de France and Greg LeMond. Yeah.
Yes, Greg LeMond. Yeah.
He rode the bike with us on Main Street, which was quite something because obviously, Olympic cyclists on the bike, and then we're thinking, well, exactly how fast are we going to end up going down Main Street? But luckily, he was sensible. It was that was quite something. Other strange requests. Yeah, I mean, I remember once we got a guy asked if he could sing with us, and we thought he was well, certainly I thought he was a barbershop singer, and it turns out he wasn't. And he decided he was going to sing his own version of some song, which we had to try and harmonise to. That was quite amusing. That happened quite early on. Guy walked up, yeah, I sing with you guys. Oh, great! I thought he was a barbershop singer. No. Anyway, yeah.
Mark, have you got a light switch in your room?
Oh, sorry. No, I'm out. Well, I'm out. I'm in a different time zone, so I'm outdoors. Hang on a second. I should put some lights on.
Good call. I was just going to do that.
Yeah, did we ever join a parade? I think, as we said, it was more we cycled, we were on our bike and singing to the people waiting for parade, and then as Mark said, we did join in one parade in quite flamboyant costumes.
Easter parade.
Yeah.
Now we used to have what we affectionately termed the pre-parade set, which would involve the bikes riding around because they'd roped the streets off and ready for the parade to come through. It made it a lot easier. Tram tracks aside, it made it a lot easier.
Hazel's just reminded me of a very interesting guest interaction, which was filmed on television. And I believe it was a Dutch television station where they had taken, I think the man had been taken on this mystery tour, which ended at EuroDisney. And he walked through under the station to be greeted by us singing. And to our side was a balloon seller holding a big bunch of balloons, which was hiding his girlfriend. And at the end of the song, she released the balloons to reveal the partner who made the proposal of marriage for the TV program. And that was something really special. Thank you, Hazel, for reminding me of that. I'm sorry I'm echoey. That's really nice. Thank you.
Thank you. Very kind.
I still wonder why did Disney end it? All the parks in the world still have that, and
yes. Well, the thing was that the first year I came out, it was a 12-month contract, and then because it was very early on in the Disney development at Paris, at least. They asked us if we would be happy to be there for 9 months in year 2. And so reluctantly we agreed. And then by year 3, they would only want us for 6 months. And that was difficult because we had to find something else to do for the rest of the 6 months. And had there been a year 4 contract, that would have been just for 3 or 4 months. And that was a no-no for us, really. Is that about right, guys?
Yeah. The 9 months.
Yeah,
The Christmas show made it easier.
Yeah.
I still find it very strange being only park without the Dapper Dan in the park.
That's not quite true. There are no Dapper Dans in California now. The only park in the world. The only park in the world that has barbershop quartet is Disney World in Florida. Tokyo has never had one. Hong Kong had one for the opening, but then that was an American quartet that was shipped out there. Hong Kong and where's the other one? Shanghai, I think they don't have the barbershop quartet either. So Disneyland Paris was originally when we went out, there were barbershop singers in both California and Florida. But the California singers were wound down as they retired. But with Disneyland Paris, the problem in the early days was, I am pretty sure, purely financial. They did a number of surveys at the time, and we were regularly ranked with the paying guests. We were regularly ranked at number 1 for entertainment, especially obviously the live atmosphere entertainment. And so we were mobile, we were portable. There were only 4 of us, but at the end of the day, it came down to just at the time, francs and centimes, and exactly how much money they were having to pay out. And we weren't the only ones to go. I mean, there were a number. Les Voyageurs, the band from
and the Keystone Cops, who used to be on Main Street, they were very, very good, and they left eventually. But I believe, if my information is right, that the Tam Tams are still there. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were there when we went back.
Yeah.
And they're
as far
very,
as I
very
know, it's still the same
entertaining.
guys, but they also have a second crew now. I saw of players, because sometimes they aren't there and they can't play. And I saw them rehearsing one time, so they have a second band playing the tam tams. So
there's a number of cast members that have been there since opening that we were friends with, and it's always great to see them when we go back. So yeah, there's musicians there that we knew back then. There's people in some of the shops that we know. There's the legend that is Ladji Toure, who works in the runs one of the shops on Main Street, USA. Ladji worked in the Emporium when we were there, and everybody's giggling because everybody loves Ladji and remembers how he used to be with us, because he would stop the traffic. He would herd people in to come and listen to our show when we were singing inside the arcade or in the Emporium. Yeah, lovely guy. So,
and when we were all six of us were back together in 2019 on the park, he was still the same. He was still there. We met him, and it was just such a beautiful man.
I mean, tell you what, it was like turning the clock back, because he hadn't changed at all. I mean, the guy, it's getting very dark here now.
It is very dark.
We can still hear you. It's okay.
Oh, good.
Diswich, let's just say this: whether it's officially or unofficially, we plan to be there. It's in our diaries. I've personally already got a hotel booked in case we can't get an apartment together. And yeah, that's the plan. So yeah, officially would be fantastic, and we're working on it. But if not, we'll come anyway. And Disneyland has been fantastic actually. If we've got a social media partner, which we have had, we're very lucky to have had. If we've got a social media partner that can interact with Disneyland Paris and say, look, we're going to do something to celebrate with the Main Street Quartet, they're fine with that. The 25th anniversary, they gave us permission. We sang outside the barbershop. So yeah, it'll happen one way or the other. And thank you for that love.
And
thank you for unique times, Euro Disneyland Paris. I would love to be there for the 30th, and anything else that you can think of where you need a barbershop quartet. I would love to be a part of that.
Your guys.
So there's a comment from Flays. Flays said, everybody loved your Ladji. So Flays, I'm guessing you're a cast member. So get in touch. Send a message through the Facebook group or something, because I want to know who you are now. I'm intrigued. Same for Diswich. We want to identify you. We're all hiding behind our YouTube names at the moment. So yeah, it's intriguing.
So in case Ladji is watching or listening, or if he gets to see this, I think we should all say a collective hello to Ladji. Shall we do that?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Hey,
hello, Ladji.
Hi, Ladji.
Bonjour, mon ami.
A special hello from me to Richard Pilbury, who is tuned in. I've seen his comments on YouTube. Richard reached out to me last year, wondering if he could get hold of our CD. We did a CD back in '96 after leaving Disney, and I did send you a copy, didn't I, Richard, and a photo. So, Richard, thank you for your support. It's good to see you on here. And actually, Richard and I both have a big birthday next year. We will both be 50 next year. The beers are on me, Richard. If you can catch up with me at Disneyland Paris next year, that doesn't go for you guys. Sorry, no, it's just.
I was just going to say. I mean, everybody's eyes were scarred for a moment. Anyway.
Well, yeah, because I don't get my. Are you saying I don't get my wallet out very often? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Also, I'd like personally to say a big hello to all the cast members in the Buffalo Bills Wild West show. They're all really professional people, and it was great to see them again last year. And Steve, just remind me that we sang with Percy as well, didn't we, and his band?
We did in Cowboy Cookout. Percy Copley and the guys at Russ Hogue, of course, at the Cowboy Cookout. And did you just mention Buffalo Bills, John? And there's a little shout out as well from all of us to send our love to the whole cast of the Buffalo Bills Wild West show. And it gets me emotional just thinking about the fact that show has finished, because it was a jewel in the crown of Festival Disney and EuroDisney. And just fantastic. And we were fortunate enough to go to that a couple of times in the last few years and see the guys, meet with Sonna, who has played
Sonna.
Annie Oakley for so long and just done a fantastic job there, part of the furniture, and meet some of the cast guys. So yeah, that's a big loss to Disneyland Paris, and we will miss it so much. But hello, hope you see it.
I see Mark is getting very dark now.
I'm going to go inside. I'm going to go inside and put some lights on. So
If we stay here long enough, will the sun come up again?
Yeah, maybe, who knows?
That's how it works. Wait a minute, it's about to get darker. Where's the light switch?
So yeah,
right.
I had a question. Do you guys still perform now outside of Disney? Not now with the pandemic, but normally, do you perform somewhere else?
Yes, I sing in a group of 13 called Musaria, and if the pandemic wasn't happening, then we would probably be performing at the moment.
Okay.
Do you mean us though, Philip, as a group?
Yeah, separate or as a group.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Well, yeah. As I said earlier, me and Martin and Paul. I've got confused because I can't see him. He's gone. I can't see him. Me, Paul, and Martin, and a gentleman called Giles, who might be listening. We do have a quartet, and we call Reunion because it's kind of a reunion, but it's nearly the Main Street Quartet. And so we sing quite regularly out of the pandemic. But what that means is that if Paul can't make it, we can ask Mark or Stuart to come and sing with us, as we did last Christmas. And if Giles can't make it, then John can join us and sing with us.
John, other way around. Yeah, if John can't make it, Giles can come and join us.
Yeah.
No. I'm talking about Reunion. So if Giles can't make it, John can join Reunion. And we've done that. And in doing that, in Reunion, carrying on singing, then we can pull in Main Street Quartet members. And that's, I kind of think that's the beauty of that, is that when we got to go back to Disney together, we were quite current with the songs.
Yeah.
It's also, I mean, we also have other things. I mean, I direct. I'm the musical director for 2 choruses in the UK, 1 men, 1 women, and I also sing with a small mixed group at the same time. I know Stuart is heavily involved in other quartets and chorus, aren't you, Stuart?
Yeah, I'm still in an active competing quartet in the UK, and I still sing with the previous quartet as well. So I'm still heavily into quartetting as well as singing as often as I can with these guys, because it's just brilliant.
Yeah.
You know, I mentioned Richard Pilbury.
Yeah.
It's his 49th birthday today.
Hey.
Happy birthday, Richard.
Happy birthday, Richard.
Woo-hoo.
Have a good one.
We could destroy Happy Birthday, but it would sound terrible.
It would.
Yeah.
The lag has actually been getting worse the longer we've been on. I don't know.
Yeah. The lag's getting worse the after you've been getting, Mark.
So I think you answered all the questions I have. I don't see any new questions. So
good.
I want to say thank you guys for being here.
That was a pleasure.
Excellent. Great fun.
I love to see you next year. I love to see you next year live at Disney.
Yeah,
let's do it.
Yeah.
Thanks for reaching out, Philip.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. Is there anything you want to tell for closure of the video, or something you want to say to Disney, or a final word?
Yes, we are happy and ready to sing whenever you want us. Whenever you want us there, we will do our best to be there. We are happy to sing. We're ready to go.
Natasha, if you're listening, it was lovely to meet you with my daughter Lucy in 2019. And you know, like we sang for Catherine Powell at the 25th. We hope we can come and sing for you when the park reopens for the 30th. Let's come and sing to you too.
I would just like to say a massive thank you to all of the people who've been following us, who are still engaged in what we do. To all the people who have been following this broadcast, thank you very much for showing an interest in something that stopped an awful long time ago, but which we are still trying to, in our own way, keep alive. Yeah, thank you very much. There's so much of the Disney magic in everybody that gets involved in this sort of event, and it's very special. And it's something. Our time at Disney was one of the most magical moments, and I can honestly say it's something that I shall never ever forget. And yeah, thank you to everybody who ever listened to us. Thank you to everybody who ever stood outdoors in Main Street and took time to listen to us sing a song. Thank you very much. It was all
guys. I've just seen the request for a happy birthday.
Yeah, that's for
if we sing the song "Happy Birthday," because of the lag, it won't happen. But what we can do is sing "Happy Birthday," just the words "Happy Birthday" to the ice cream chord. That will work.
Okay.
Just happy birthday. So we can say it's for yeah.
So can I just suggest we go? So the first three go happy, 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 and then the last one sings birthday, and we all sing birthday with the last one. Got me? So I'm gonna go.
I think it would be
that introduces lag.
I think it would be safer if we just sing happy birthday. I just want to go for the easiest option so that it sounds as good as it can sound, given what we've got.
Yeah.
So basis if you start. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Hey, we got it. Well done.
We'd have talked about it for another 20 minutes.
As good as it's gonna get.
Okay, thank you guys.
Yeah.
Something
maybe next year. Maybe next year.
Yeah, who knows?
We can record it live at Main Street or somewhere else in the
Let's
park.
do that.
Cool.
Okay, thank you all for being here. I can't see any new questions anymore. It has been an hour, so people will be able to watch this this whole thing again if they want. It will be available. So if you want to see yourself again, you could watch it again. Okay, thank you all for being here. I'm gonna
Merci
put
beaucoup. Au revoir tout le monde.
À bientôt.
À bientôt.
Ciao.
À bientôt.
Bye bye everybody.
Bye.
Bye.